you join me today with the Porsche 911 GT3 991 generation. Now, for those of you who are perhaps unfamiliar, the GT3 range is the start of Porsche's kind of track focus car. They're kind of stripped out, a lot lighter. This weighs 1,430 kilos, and to do that, they've ripped out the rear seats. No rear seats in this at all. Okay, this one's got a roll cage because it's got the Club Sport pack. And if that doesn't shout track aspirations to you, then nothing will. It's got less sound deadening inside, and you know, it's a stripped out track car. That's all there is to it. It's a stripped out track car. Now, also Porsche do the GT3 RS, which is an even more hardcore version of this, and they also do the GT2 RS, which is the extreme hardcore track car. Now, they're generally released in fairly short production runs. Okay, so they're not available all the time, and subsequently, once they come on the market, they sell very quickly. So you'd be very lucky, or have some very good contacts, to be able to get one new. As it is, this one's 2013. It's the 991 generation, as I said. The GT3 first arrived with the 996 generation. Bear with me here. Some odd things go on with Porsche's numbering scheme, shall we say. Yeah, the 996, then the 997, and then the 991. Don't ask me. So this particular car has got the 3.8 litre flat six engine, naturally aspirated. Produces 468 bhp and 440 newton meters of torque, up to a crazy red line of 9,000 RPM. Stats wise, if that's important to you, 0 to 60 will be achieved in under 3.5 seconds, and a top speed is a smidge under 200 miles an hour at 196 miles an hour. This car is fitted with a massive Porsche carbon ceramic brakes, which you can see here at the front. And whilst we're also here, it's also fitted with the front axle lift system, which I'll demonstrate. All right, so what that does, that lifts the front of the car by about 30 millimeters, which is pretty handy for getting over speed bumps and potholes and things like that. The sort of thing that we see a lot in the UK. Now, in terms of storage space, you don't get a hell of a lot, but you're knocking on supercar territory here, so what do you really expect? Now, clearly the engine's in the rear, so the storage space is up front here. Which is just released fairly simply. He says, trying to find the latch. Not bad. You get a couple of weekend bags in there, no problem at all. At the other end of the car, if you want to look at the engine, you want to marvel over it, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Because it's all hidden away. There's one in there underneath all that plastic and carbon fibre. My one obvious complaint would be the sound at idle. I don't know how well that's going to come out here, but it sounds like there's a bag of bolts rattling around in the engine bay. And it is normal though. Once you apply any kind of revs at all, or you get going, it disappears. But at idle and at really low speeds, yeah, it sounds like you've got all sorts of metal clanging against each other in the engine, which, you know, if you didn't know any better, you'd think you'd pull over straight away and say, Christ, my engine's about to launch itself. Now, the 911 itself is renowned as a driver's car, has been for its entire lifespan. And the GT3, almost like the pinnacle of that. And having spent some time with this now, it's easy to see why. This car is absolutely superb. This is, right, cut to the chase here, this is one of the best cars I've ever driven on the road. It's quick, obviously it's quick, I mean you can see that on paper, but it doesn't quite translate to how quick it is in real life. You've got a superb amount of traction, you know, don't be scared by the fact that it's a fair amount of power on a light car, rear wheel drive. No, it's got a good amount of traction. I mean, this has got a Cup 2 tyres on it, so you need to get them warmed up a bit, because although they're very sticky, they're not going to work so well when it's cold, or wet for that matter. But there's a phenomenal amount of handling available in this car. Also, the steering is absolutely brilliant. It's so connected. I've never driven a car on the road for any length of time anyway that gives such good feedback through the steering wheel. It's brilliantly weighted. You can feel exactly where you're going to put the car, and the feedback it gives you is everything you could ever ask for. Very good, really good. Now, when this car came out, it upset a lot of the purists because there was no manual option. Okay, it only came as a PDK only. That's all there was. And now Porsche, they've gone back to offering a manual with the GT3, which has pleased a lot of people. But in this generation, PDK or nothing. Fortunately, it's an exceptionally good box. Okay, there's no delay between selecting gears and getting them delivered. It's a very, very good box. All right, so if you're going to have a manual, then if you're going to have an automatic, then it's a really good one to have. Touch over £100,000 when it came out 8 years ago, and if you want to pick one up now, you're going to expect to pay about the same amount of money. GT3s and the RS, GT3 RS and the GT2 RS hold their values exceptionally well. They made a little over 6,000 of these, but they're not very common at all. Subsequently, they hold their value. You know, like I say, you're going to pay nearly the price that one would cost new to pick one up second hand. You don't tend to see high mileage on them. People will keep them as weekend cars, or even keep them as appreciable assets because of the value increase. So yeah, I mean, even though this car's 8 years old, you're going to pay pretty much what it would have been new. And as I said before, a little earlier, chances of you getting one new were probably pretty slim unless you had a fantastic relationship with your Porsche dealer. There you have it. I mean, this is a superb car. I mean, I've said it before, I'll just say it again in closing. An utterly brilliant car. If you can live with the two seats only, slight lack of practicality, low front end, certainly in the UK, I'd definitely recommend that. The front axle lift system, which raises it by about 30mm. What a superb car. People use these as daily cars, which is a testament to how versatile they are. Absolutely brilliant. I've really enjoyed my time with it. And if you want to see more footage of us driving in Wales, then check out my other video where we did our tour around Wales. We covered about 600 miles or so in this car, and we saw some fantastic scenery footage. So check that out if you want to see more of the car. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.